and the authors of Kabul, the untold story of Biden's fiasco, and the American warriors who fought to the end, who broke the truth of this debacle, join us now. So, Jerry, we know who delivered this order and why?
We don't yet know exactly who or why, but we do know from all of the research that we did in our book that an order to do basically a cleanup order was given. So after this devastating attack on Abbey Gate, where 13 Americans were killed, and of course dozens of them wounded, the troops on the ground, these Marines and other service members, are ordered to clean up the trash and to clean up the airport for the Taliban, as we then handed control of the airport over to them. So sort of an insult to injury on the way out of Afghanistan. So
we were the maids for the Taliban. James, morale at that point had to have been in the gutter. I mean, I know these guys are tough, but how much can you put on another human being? When the order came down, it must have just dropped morale even lower.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct, Jesse. We talked to several Marines who were there, who are particularly involved in this incident itself, and scores more. And that's one thing that they repeated over and over, that morale was just absolutely in the gutter. And in fact, a senior NCO from that unit told Pentagon investigators that he thought it was a joke when that order first came down. And he described it as one of the most, quote, degrading experiences of his military career. And it just shows the disconnect between those at the higher level and those who are on the line. And in terms of who that order came from, I can tell you that the battalion commander and sergeant major of that Marine battalion were also participating in it alongside their Marines. So it clearly came from a pretty high level of the command at the airport.
I have a lot of respect for those Marines and for the commander who did that. I can't even believe well, that's what they do. They follow orders, and they're just brave, brave people. This book's very well sourced, Jerry. What other things did you discover in your reporting?
Well, look, we make a pretty strong case in the book, backed by evidence, that the Abbey Gate attack likely was preventable. Of course, the suicide bomber Abdul Rahman al-Lagri, who the Biden administration refuses to name, he was freed from Bagram by the Taliban on August 15th. So if we had just held on to Bagram, that prisoner would have been behind bars. On top of that, you have the testimony from Sergeant Tyler Vargas Andrews about believing that he had spotted someone matching the description of a potential threat to the airport, potential suicide bomber, but not being able to get permission to take that shot. And then we also found in our book other opportunities to take out ISIS-K members before the Abbey Gate bombing. In one instance, the U.S. had to ask the Taliban to raid ISIS-K locations in Kabul, which the Taliban would sometimes refuse to do. And on top of that, we found evidence of an airstrike a proposal for an airstrike being drawn up before the Abbey Gate bombing, but that airstrike not being followed through on, apparently because the military commanders deemed it to be infeasible due to a negative response from the Taliban. It all just
heaven
goes to
forbid
show.
we offend the Taliban.
And Jesse, if I can just jump in there for a second. Yeah, those, what appeared to be plans to draw up or to conduct an airstrike on the 24th were in Nangarhar province, and they appeared to target an ISIS-K operative named Kabir Aidi. And as Jerry mentioned, it appears that commanders on the ground determined that the strike would be, quote, infeasible because of negative response from the Taliban. But what's crucial here is it also appears that on the 27th, we did actually conduct that strike, and it appears using the exact same targets and targeting package that we had drawn up on the 24th. And military leaders and government officials said that doing so and killing this individual, who they described as involved in the attack on the 26th, prevented or potentially prevented a follow-on attack. So the question that gets raised is if, disrupting a follow-on attack by conducting the strike on the 27th was the case, then what if we weren't forced to take the Taliban sensitivities into account,
right,
and we had done so on the 24th?
Right. I mean, it's a complete disaster, and everybody needs to read this book. It should be required reading. It should be required reading at the Pentagon, too. James, Jerry, thank you guys very much.
Thank you, Jesse.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.